Hello tonight. This is March the 14th, Thursday night, Healthy Living Inspirations. We are at Hope Community and we are learning how to live healthy, even though we're living in a toxic world. And tonight's subject is heart health. So we're going to learn a little bit about what really does help the heart stay healthy, get healthy. If you have, let's say, fallen into a situation where you're have an unhealthy situation. Well, I'm getting a lot of phone calls about heart, especially things about clogged arteries and valves and heart situations and arrhythmias and tachycardias and all of those things. So hopefully we'll bring about some clarity, but I want to keep it within an hour for the class tonight. So I am recording. So let's get started. We're going to share the screen. I need a thumbs up for those that, let me see if I make sure everybody's on. I need a thumbs up. Hold on a moment. Slideshow, let Ann in. Slideshow from the start. I will need a thumbs up on who can see my slides. Can you see my slides? All right. Do I have a thumb? Show me a thumbs up, because I'm going to make one more adjustment. All right. Now, can you see my slides? I need to know from the Zoom audience if you can see my slides. Chrissy, can you give me a thumbs up? Let me know if you can see my slides. Or Ron or Nancy, somebody give me a shout out. Let me know that my slides are visible and showing. You have to unmute yourself or come and just give me a thumbs up. All right. So Chrissy, can you see my slides?
No, honey, can't see them, babe.
All right, hold on a moment then. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here. And we're going to reconnect with the screen share. Can you see them now? Can you see the slides now? All right, Chrissy, Ron, G.
Yes,
Okay,
we can see
all
them,
right.
honey.
And somebody's going to have to help me. I don't know how to turn the volume up on this because I've tried everything and anyhow. The icons and the buttons today don't make any sense for me. But anyhow, I like to start with scripture. And I don't think there's any objection in the house to starting with scripture. I want to start with scripture for every single class that I do. That was one of my commitments for 2024. So our subject tonight is on the heart. So let's just start with the heart. How many here have a favorite scripture that has the word heart in it? Does anybody here have a favorite scripture verse that has the word heart in it? Anybody online want to unmute themselves and get a favorite scripture verse?
Out of the heart are the issues of life.
Out of the heart are the issues of life. Anybody else online? You just unmute yourself and go ahead and give me your name and the verse that you want to refer. Out of the heart comes forth the issues of life. I have another one that is, the heart is deceitful. Who can know it but God? That is why we need God, is because our hearts can actually trick us, right? So that's an interesting one. All right, is anybody else would like to share?
From the abundance of the heart, the mouth.
Oh, I love that, Wade. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. I love that. And we all know that the heart is a physical muscle in the body, but we know that out of it comes the issues of life. And out of it comes forth good things, a well of living water, or something that is poisonous. It all depends upon if you have given your heart to the God that created you, and if you have allowed him to, let's say, exercise his word and his Holy Spirit in your heart. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And that's a Proverbs. So the word tells us to guard our hearts. We're going to learn today how to guard our hearts. And we're going to learn how to guard our hearts in the physical realm. And then there's other classes once a month that Cheryl and I are going to tag team doing, that is going to talk about how the physical connects with the spiritual. And that class title is going to be called Fight for Your Fit. Cleanse my heart so it beats for you. Beats for who? Beats for the one who created your heart and created me a pure heart. And of course, this was a Psalm of David, and his heart's cry was, I need a pure heart. Have you ever heard somebody say, my heart aches? And they weren't just referencing an actual heart attack, but they were referencing a spiritual experience that they were having that caused them to have a grieving heart. So let's get going, because your heart actually has a wonderful example of how God deals with mankind, and how your heart can literally beat in rhythm and in time. Because remember, there's a website called heartmath.com, and you can glean so many and amazing things about the Creator and how he designed the heart, because your heart emits a frequency, your heart receives frequencies. Or we're going to learn in the PowerPoint here in the presentation tonight how your heart actually is affected by the dirty frequencies. And I'm referring to EMFs, electromagnetic type frequencies. So let's get rolling here. Healthy heart. Do we not want a healthy heart? We want a healthy heart spiritually, and we want a healthy heart physically, don't we? So heart health facts, cardiovascular. You know, when you go see a heart specialist, they always know everything that connects to the heart, and everything that flows into the heart, and everything that's flowing out of the heart. And then sometimes they can break up into specific expertise, because you can have different types of heart doctors. But cardiovascular disease is the most common in the US, is coronary artery disease, which can cause heart attacks, angina, heart failure, arrhythmias, affects 80 million people, cause of 1 in 4 deaths each year. So is this important to learn how to guard your heart, how to protect your heart, how to help have a healthy heart? Yeah, it is. So cardio care. Complementary, complex transport system that work in elegant harmony to choreograph the body's needs. So that's my poetic version of what the heart does. So it's complex, but you don't have to tell your heart to beat, do you? Your heart automatically on atomic, meaning automatic, it's on automatic. So you don't have to tell your heart to beat every time. Between arteries, capillaries, depending on if you're from South Africa or not, veins, blood vessels. I hear a lot of people talk about, oh, my veins are popping out and blood vessels. You have more than 60,000 miles of blood vessels that you need to guard, and you need to protect, and you need to nurture. Arteries carry blood away from the heart and pass oxygen and nutrients and tissue cells through the small, thin blood vessels called capillaries. Behavioral risk account for 80% of heart disease in America. Now, what is behavioral risk? Now, if you're a school teacher, you know what that is. That's where, all right, your behavior is out of line, meaning you're misbehaving. You're walking in a conduct that is out of line. Your conduct is causing, let's say, disruption, right, in the classroom. So in other words, behavioral risk accounts for over 80% of these cardiovascular diseases that we get and are getting and are killing 1 out of 4 Americans. Wow. So we need to actually pay attention to our behavior because we are disrupting that poetic, beautiful, choreographed symphony that the heart flows with synergistically, just flowing together. You don't have to tell it what to do. It knows what to do. Calculated risk. Do you want to reduce your calculated risk? Well, then we need to not turn a blind eye to the facts. Wasn't this a cute emoji? We need to not turn a blind eye to the facts. Number one killer in America and around the world right now is what? Ignorance. It's ignorance. And Hosea 4:6 says, my people perish because they lack knowledge. Knowledge of what? He said, knowledge of how I have set boundaries and borders and standards and principles of life to live, and yet you have violated them. So therefore you're disorderly and your body is paying the price for that disorder. Let's become harder to kill by increasing applied knowledge. That's one of my jobs. Adam, would you like some soup? Come on up here and get you some soup and some salad.
And you're off on it.
Come on up, come on down, come on down. I got soup and some chicken salad for you. So, in other words, we have an enemy. John 10:10 says our enemy seeks to do 3 things: kill, steal, and destroy. And so when we gain knowledge out of Hosea that talks about knowledge, and when he talks about applying that knowledge, because knowledge doesn't mean anything until we personally apply it, right? Then we become harder to kill by the enemy. Wow, when you're in a war, don't you want to be in a military platoon that actually knows what they're doing, is not just winging it, but has a strategy and is well equipped and is highly trained? Don't you want to be when you're in a war? And we are in a war. So it is about metabolic syndrome, and all metabolic syndrome means is the basic functions over the cardiovascular system that is in disorder, and then inflammation arises. And when inflammation arises, then it causes a lot of issues. Inflammation and oxidation, we're going to talk about that. But positive changes in lifestyle that we need to pay attention to. Sometimes it's just little bitty things. And Deborah, if you want a little bowl of anything. Sometimes it's just a little bit of change that can make a big difference. So we need to master the skills of life. We talk a lot about the 9 best doctors, and some of those are what? Can you name me the 9 best doctors? Pop off, Wade, what's one of them? Rest. Okay, that's one I have the hardest tackling. Rest. All right, anybody else want to name me the 9 best doctors? Sunshine, you are the sunshine of my life. Rest, sleep, because rest and sleep are different, actually. Yes, rest, sunshine, sleep. Anybody else want to?
Positive thinking.
Positive thinking, okay. Negative thoughts will actually affect your heart. What do you think brings on an anxiety attack? Hello, it's a little ping ping here, a vibration and an energy input to here, and all of a sudden something goes whoop, whoop, whoop. Each day we have an opportunity to skip or seize ways to keep our body healthy. What impacts long-term overall health, and we want to actually begin to apply things that actually multiply into long-term applied health. What are we doing to not become a victim to chronic disease? And that chronic disease, by the way, is part of the metabolic syndrome, which is 80% of what's killing us today. Start today so you don't become a statistic tomorrow. So proud of you all. You showed up tonight. Give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you all in the Zoom world. Update. I want to give a little update because when I did my class on trenin, I love how Nancy says trenin. Sounds like a song group or something. The trenin. Welcome, the trenin. And so this is something that was just hot off the research about grain oil lipids and sterols. And they've learned that the neolifetrin and grain legume concentrates have been known to produce a wide variety of health benefits. And we talked about the health benefits for the heart and the cardiovascular system. We've known that since 1958, but recent research on a nutritional substance found most abundantly in wheat germ, rice, and soy, that's where we get our trenin from, may explain some of the benefits of this supplement. Spermidine promotes the self-cleaning of cells called autophagy, also activated by fasting, and has been shown to prolong lifespan, promote health in laboratory animals. So it's as a cleaning agent inside the cells. And what do we share with people? That our trenin actually was shown clinically to help the cells detox, 55% increase in detoxability. So this spermidine promotes a self-cleaning of the cells. It also reduces inflammation. So anytime you can detox and reduce inflammation in your cardiovascular system, you're going to be happier and healthy, and you're going to be guarding your heart. Promotes the health of the mitochondria. And your most mitochondria is found in your heart because it's the little battery packs that's got to work all day, every day, even when you're sleeping, it's going to be working. Where energy is produced within the cells, it has also been shown to benefit in the slowing progression of dementia and improving what? Heart health. So wouldn't you like to slow down the progression of these metabolic disorders? Wouldn't you like to reduce your risk of being a statistic? Oh my goodness. And here are some of the references to that latest research. Wow. So next is, let's tackle heart disease. So cardio health, condition of your blood vessels. So they want to know, what is that test that they run up your neck here for your carotid artery to test the blockage, if there's plaque going into, because they know that if there is plaque creating in your carotid artery, it will affect your brain and you'll have symptoms of dementia. All because of carotid artery, a lack of blood flow to the brain. Blood pressure, also they look at, okay, blood pressure, oxidized cholesterol. Cholesterol is not the problem. I hope if you've been coming to my classes long enough, you know by now, cholesterol is your friend, but it's oxidized cholesterol. Plaque, The oxidized cholesterol turns into a sticky sludge, and then calcium comes along to actually cover that sticky sludge, and then you have plaque on top of the sludge. But what they've discovered is homocysteine levels are actually what are the real true markers for identifying heart disease and dementia. So whatever is happening to the heart is happening also to the brain. And of course, obesity and diabetes, and I put on here electromagnetic frequencies. One of the things that they actually saw when they started setting up their telegraph operators across the United States, they had what they called a phenomena, which they started having this strange systems. The telegraph operators, which were women, most of them, had these strange symptoms, and they would be called today as tachycardia or heart arrhythmia or heart attacks. What? And they pinned it, and there's been solid documentation on this. They pinned it to that dirty energy. And so we've gone from the telegraph machine to we've got a computer in front of us. We've got cell phones that we put on our bodies. Please don't put your cell phone around your heart. These women that slide that cell phone down in here, and I go, stop it. And they'll walk, and they'll, you know, they're just going to the shopping mall and the shopping stores, and I got that cell phone down there right on top of their heart. Now, doesn't it make sense that if you have a pacemaker, they tell you not to get around a what? A microwave. Hello. So what do you think that EMFs, the dirty energy, is doing to the heart? Now, I'm getting calls almost every week about somebody who's having an arrhythmia issue, a heart arrhythmia or tachycardia issue. Young people that are having these issues. So let's roll right along. EMFs, well, electromagnetic frequencies. Pretty strong evidence that EMFs contribute to cardiovascular problems. Please don't sleep with your phone next to you. Please turn off all your electronic devices in your bedroom. You're under surveillance. You're under vulnerability in the midnight and the night hours while you're sleeping. You need to keep the room free of dirty energy. Do you sleep near a smart meter outside of your bedroom door? If you do, have them take it off or put a Faraday cage around it or something. There are things you can do to protect you from having that dirty energy coming into the area that you're laying down and resting for the night. Because they definitely are connected to atrial fibrillation, arrhythmias, tachycardia. Among the worst exposures are your cell phones, Wi-Fi routers. If you're able to, turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Give your body a rest. Because it's coming through. Remember, our 5G always pulses at a very fast, short intervals, not like the others, which was slower and longer and lengthier. But now it's very short, very fast, multiple intervals, and it's always saying, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. I'm targeting you. I'm targeting you. And that's what it's saying. It's saying, where's the phone? Where's the phone? Connect with the phone. Connect with the phone. But it's not just the cell phone. It's also your home phone and your smart meters, fluorescent lights. Did you ever know that these fluorescent lights are emitting a dirty energy that can affect my heart, your heart, our children as they're in schools and having to work underneath the fluorescent lighting. And again, you can hardwire your home. I haven't done this yet, but you can do these things. So we can see that. All right. So that's one of the latest things that is attacking and disrupting your heart rhythms. So what you put into your mouth, though, actually plays a huge part. And as John talked about, what you put into your mind, that what you put into your mind also plays a big part. Exercise, blood circulation, how you can get your blood circulating, lipid circulation. That simply means, are your fat little droplets in your cardiovascular system, are they flowing around, or are they holding up and getting sticky and getting sludgy and then getting attacking to a wall of your cardiovascular arteries? Inflammation, because when that happens, guess what else happens? Inflammation comes along. And then oxidation. So you've got all these things playing. One step leads to the next step, leads to the next step, leads to the next step. So if you can actually exercise some of these lifestyle behaviors, which is exercise, and watch what you're putting in your mouth, can make a huge difference as to how fast your lipids in your blood will actually turn into sludge or stay free flowing. So risk factors for heart disease, nutritional related factors, too much of the bad stuff. And so the number one culprit that is causing cardiovascular issues is hydrogenated and seed oils. Believe it or not, they're found in crackers. They're found in chips. I talked to a lady the other day and she said, oh, I have to have a bag of chips every single day. Several times a day. And I said, well, the oils that those chips are fried in, and when you go out to eat and when you have, something that's fried, I guarantee you it's not being fried in a coconut oil or a tallow or a good oil that's not going to oxidize quickly in the body. So too much of the bad stuff, industrialized types of fats, and refined sugar, because refined sugar in the body actually causes a lot of inflammation. Not enough of the good stuff. And number one, omegas, or the good healthy fats. Can anybody name a good healthy fat? Anybody name a good? Beef tallow, that's good. Yes, John? Olive oil, butter. Everything's better with butter. Yeah, avocado oil, coconut oil. Those are all great, satisfying oils. And then protein too, because the cardiovascular, remember, your heart is a muscle and it needs good quality protein in order to be strong and healthy. Fruits and vegetables. Why are fruits and vegetables important? Because they contain a lot of nutrition, a lot of nutrients. The
And fiber.
Here's got cabbage in it, it's got onion in it, it's got garlic in it, it's got carrots in it. It has, it's got some northern beans that I got at the health food store the other day and cooked. So it's got some protein in it, it's got chicken in it, it's got my broth from the chicken. It's got some good fats in it. So you can see how one chicken in the pot can actually give you a lot of nutrition and a lot of good oils. The only thing I didn't do was put a half a stick of butter in there to let it melt and swirl around. So fats heal and proteins will restore. So remember that fats will heal and proteins restore. They improve blood cholesterol levels. They ease inflammation. They stabilize heart rhythms and play a number of other beneficial roles. Eat foods from plants, nuts, and seeds, and coconut oil. Real organic butter, cream, milk, meat, fat, bacon, and eggs if you eat bacon. So you can see here that these are some of the things that's been on the no-no list, right? For heart health. If you type in heart health, they're going to tell you to stay away from a lot of these sources. Now, I reduce it down to kindergarten level. If God made it, it is what? Good. If man made it, highly question it, because it's most likely going to been made synthetically to try to kill you. Intentionally, maybe not, but unintentionally, it doesn't matter. If you're dead before your time, then it doesn't matter whether it's intentional or non-intentional. But I do know that it is the enemy's job to intentionally kill you before your time. That I do know. So olives, avocados, nuts such as almonds, some of your best omegas are going to come from walnuts because they are the brain, a little handful of walnuts. Hazelnuts, pecans, there's a lot of pecans in the chicken salad I've got up here. Pumpkin seeds and sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds actually have some really good oil in them, but I wouldn't buy the sunflower seed oil. And here's the reason why. Eat the seed. And if you need to grind it up, you can and make kind of a little butter out of it. But you don't want to buy a seed oil because the seed oils have been processed with heat and with chemicals to extract it. And those chemicals are highly carcinogen, and the heat will make it oxidized and rancid. And so oxidized rancid oils will produce inflammation in the body. So the body can't make these, so they must come from food. In other words, omega-3s is essential to the body. And what I mean by essential, Tony's talked about this quite often, is the body can't make it, so you got to be smart enough to put it in. The body, 70% reduction in both fatal and non-fatal heart attacks in the group that consume a Mediterranean diet. And what is a Mediterranean diet? A diet loaded with good, healthy oils. Real heart protection, let's talk about those lipotropic factors. Lipo means fat. Tropic means loving. And choline and inositol are vitally important for bringing down inflammatory index, for emulsifying the lipids in the body, are essential for the production of lipoproteins, which help keep lipids emulsified in the bloodstream. These are very, very select nutrients of folic acid, B6 and B12, and they are known to lower your homocysteine levels. Now, we've learned that it's not cholesterol, it's oxidized cholesterol. And it's not really oxidized cholesterol, but it's homocysteine levels. So if you go get any test, make sure you get a test, ask for a homocysteine level test. Citrus bioflavonoids, including hesperidin, support the circulatory system. So I've talked quite a bit about the flavonoids. That's part of the flavonoid family there. So lipotropic adjunct, which is what Neolife formulated, specifically designed to bring down your homocysteine levels. Key benefits: supports free-flowing circulation, arterial health, wall health. Why? Because if the walls of your capillaries or your arteries are flexible like a rubber band, then when your blood pressure increases, it can expand. When it decreases, it can contract, expand and contract. So when the arterial wall becomes dry and brittle, is when it begins to break and then leak. Flavonoids play a big part in keeping, carotenoids and flavonoids play a big part in keeping, and omega-3s, those arterial walls healthy. Supports proper capillary function, important to carrying blood lipids throughout the body. So it's important to keep the lipids emulsified. Now, when we talk about emulsification, meaning free flowing, not sludgy and slow. So in other words, It's more like a healthy bowel movement, not constipational bricks. Lipotropic factors help keep lipids, fats emulsified in the bloodstream and help reduce the buildup of unwanted fats in the liver. So in other words, your body's taking it all to the liver, and then the liver has to deal with it. And when the liver no longer can deal with it, which the sugar actually turns into these fats stored in the liver, then you come up with fatty liver disease. And then if you do not address fatty liver disease, it will turn into cirrhosis of the liver. And it can be non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And they're seeing now this happening in children. So what happens here, you can see the blood artery capillary walls helps prevent oxidation of cholesterol in the plaque and resist unwanted fat buildup in the liver. That's what lipotropic adjunct does in the body. So it reduces homocysteine levels. It keeps the lipids emulsified in the body, so there's no buildup in the liver, and very happy, very healthy. Your brain will thank you. Your heart will thank you. Homocysteine is a metabolic byproduct. So in other words, homocysteine is a normal byproduct of the metabolic processing of energy in the body. So in order to be the garbage collectors of the, let's say, the deposits, once the body produces energy, then it actually makes a deposit, and that deposit is homocysteine, which is kind of like a waste product. Have you ever heard somebody say that this factory produces something, but it has a waste byproduct from its production? So it's producing something, but it has a waste byproduct. Well, homocysteine is like a waste byproduct in the body, but the body is able to handle it when it has enough of these B vitamins and inositol and choline. But if your body doesn't have enough of these B vitamins, inositol and choline, then you're going to be in trouble. And that is why this formula has been so important. So it's a built-in body control center for controlling homocysteine. I love this. Folic acid, B6, choline, and B12. And that's all found in lipotropic adjunct. Awesome, awesome formula. There she is. B6, B12, folic acid help lower, clinically tested to lower homocysteine levels. Provides nutritional support of a healthy heart and your circulatory system. So I'm going to give you a little list of those that I would recommend for the lipotropic. Anybody who has neuropathy, anybody who has dementia, anybody who has cholesterol, oxidized cholesterol in the body, anybody who has fat buildup in the liver, I'm going to recommend lipotropic adjunct. Wow. So food and chemical allergies. Well, what do you know? That actual food allergies can trigger a heart arrhythmia reaction. There was a test that was done by Dr. Arthur Koka. Unfortunately, okay, so he actually produced a pulse test that actually determined the heart's reaction to specific foods and allergies your body was having to specific foods. And how your body had an intolerance to certain foods that would trigger tachycardia or a rhythm issue. And in 1978, Dr. Rhea published these results and the relationship between let's see. Arrhythmias, heart arrhythmias, conditions that were triggered by massive environmental exposures. So sometimes when somebody talks to me and they say, oh my goodness, my heart started just, doing this, flutter thing, I'm going to ask them, has it ever done this before? No. When did it start? They'll tell me when it started. What were you doing? Where were you going? Were you visiting a place? Were you in a place that you'd never been before? Because sometimes it is totally connected to environmental exposures. I've gotten a couple of calls this week of people who had reactions to going over and helping some people with their animals and being exposed to mold, being exposed to a lot of cat dander, being exposed to animal type danders that was over and above. And they're having allergy issues right now because of it. So environmental triggers, toxic exposures in the environment can trigger an actual heart arrhythmia. Some of them is phenol, natural gas, shrimp. Why would shrimp be a problem? Because there's lots of toxins from the ocean in shrimp. Plus, they process it with chlorine bleach. Over here in Kathleen Road, we have a shrimp manufacturer, right? They bring the shrimp in there. I had a lady that worked there years ago, and she told me the bleach is so pungent, so strong that she had to quit. What? Wow. So if you do eat shrimp, try to make sure it's fresh and not been processed. And
Why the bleach for shrimp?
it's white. They just
White it out?
and they use other chemicals for that. It preserves them and makes them white. Nobody wants to buy a dingy looking shrimp. Makes them look fresher even though they're not. It's the same difference with arsenic and chicken. Nobody wants to buy a dingy chicken breast. Hello. They want it nice and white and bright. Cod also is, if it's processed with chlorine, pesticides, pine scented floors, cleaning products, petroleum, alcohol, all of these things they discovered when they did this research that they were actually getting heart arrhythmia from exposures to these environmental. That is why it's so important to switch out everything in your home, from your laundry soap to what you wipe, cleaning your floors with, and your tiles, your countertops, and all of the things. Correction. Now, they also discovered that in these same people that had high reactions to these environmentals, that they were low in magnesium. They were low in potassium. What is that? That's your electrolytes. They were low in copper and zinc and B1 and vitamin D. Wow. So they figured out that if they actually gave these people some of these nutrients, they had a better tolerance level. Wow. So salmon oil to the rescue. Yes, salmon oil is 100% cholesterol. Wow. What kind of salmon oil do you want to put in your body? The oxidized kind, the one that's been processed with chemicals, the one that's rancid, that's going to cause inflammation, or the one that is cold extracted from North Atlantic cold waters of a source specific fish called the silver coho salmon. And it's the part of the fish that you wouldn't mind serving your family for dinner, the fillet itself, with all 8 omegas in its naturally occurring, checked and tested with a 0 tolerance of over 200 impurities, and clinically proven to lower inflammatory index by 68% in less than 8 weeks. Now, what does this mean? this means a lot, because if you can lower your inflammatory index, you not only can reduce your risk of heart disease, but you can reduce your risk of dementia and of Alzheimer's. You can reduce your risk of all metabolic disorders, from cancer to heart disease to diabetes, all of those. Wow. So what are the benefits of a good omega? Healthy heart, improve circulation, prevent strokes, and help recovering from someone who's had a stroke. It also reduces triglycerides, and which causes red blood cells to become sticky, creating that sludge effect that we talked about. So this is the omega that I trust to give the people I love and care about, is the Neolife Omega. How about carotenoid complex? Why? Because carotenoids will help to stop the oxidative damage in the cardiovascular system, reducing your risk of stroke. Did you see how omegas reduce the risk of stroke? Now here, carotenoids reduce the risk of stroke.
Hang on, let me mute.
Yes.
Okay.
And who doesn't want to slow down aging? Wow. And an oxidative protection of 500%. This is unheard of in the industry. And yet, this is clinically proven to protect your cardiovascular system. 500%, slow down aging 44%, and boost your immunity by 37% in less than 3 weeks. This is amazing cardio heart protection. Guard your heart. So here is a 10-year study, 7 years in development. So this is a formula that just didn't pop out of a lab overnight. It took 10 years of deep research and 7 years of development. That's 17 years to put this formula together. Why? Because pioneers, how many times did, oh my goodness, how many times did, oh gracious, who was the guy that invented the light bulb? Edison. How many times did Edison try to invent the light bulb? Thousands of times before he finally hit the nail on the head. So carotenoid complex can defend your cells. Human clinical trials conducted by research from the USDA and University of Washington, Seattle, showed carotenoid complex to defend your cells against biological attacks and free radical damage, 44%. Amazing results. And then the clinical studies of USDA, 37% boost immunity, recovers immune power lost to low carotenoid diets. In other words, when your carotenoid levels are low, your cardio risk is high. That's just kindergarten stuff there. Boost immune system, it's the policeman for stronger daily defense, and responsive to the lymphocytes in whole food cultures, low carotenoid diets. So in other words, they've done the clinical studies. They've done it without. They did a double-blind study. They showed very, very clearly that when these carotenoid pigments are absent in the body, it raises your risk. The beauty is we can get them, and we can get them from a trusted source. Reduce oxidative stress. What does that mean? Do you see this artery here that's already got the sludge going on here? All right. So oxidative modification of LDL cholesterol can lead to formation of arterial plaque, increase intake of whole food antioxidant nutrients. So in other words, if somebody has this going on, they've been to the doctor and they say, you got some blockage going on, then they need to be taking this carotenoid complex along with our omegas. It's whole human food, broad spectrum, all 15 families, all 600 members, and it's published research. So carotenoids can protect your heart. These are backed by clinical studies, proven to stop and slow down the oxidation of LDL cholesterol by 500%. Wow. And then the upbeat. This is some of the latest research on cardiovascular health, brain health, is on nitric oxide. Upbeat is our solution to the nitric oxide and helping to increase, because it's a vasodilator. And that simply means it literally opens up your capillaries to increase blood flow. And every time you open your capillaries to increase blood flow, then your body will thank you very, very much. So our upbeat is amazing, delivering 70 milligrams of therapeutic nitric oxide. You need to drink it right away when you drink it. It will engage, activate within 15 minutes, and it will last 8 hours. Supports healthy circulation, increased stamina. A lot of people who have a very stubborn, let's say, blood pressure issues, I add that upbeat to the situation. Increases dopamine levels by 37%. Who doesn't need a dopamine lift? That is why you drink your upbeat and your elevate. And let me tell you, you're going to just love, you're going to breeze through your day when you had your upbeat and your elevate. Yay. Water miscible vitamin E. All right, we can't leave this subject without talking about the power of vitamin E. Early research on vitamin E factors revealed that deficiencies could lead to paralysis in baby rats, brain damage in chickens, and muscular dystrophy in guinea pigs and rabbits. So in other words, vitamin E is necessary in the very beginning stages of life. Very, very, very necessary. Would you guys please help Rosemary and guide her in the back? Thank you. So in other words, you need vitamin E in vitro. When God is forming you, when your cells are multiplying, you need vitamin E. Why do you need vitamin E? I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of vitamin E and why it's so important for cardiovascular and heart health. Journal of American Heart Association, vitamin E reduces the risk of plaque formation in the arteries. Vitamin E prevents white blood cells from sticking. This is all about reducing inflammation, but in order to reduce inflammation, you got to reduce the propensity to be sludgy and sticky cells. This is one of the very early stages of heart disease. You want to stop it before it starts. Research have known this for over 50 years, that vitamin E helps prevent heart disease. Vitamin E has been shown to prevent oxidation of cholesterol. It's an anticoagulant, so it's a natural blood thinner. So vitamin E is a natural blood thinner and to inhibit the growth of smooth muscle cells. And so it's going to strengthen your artery walls. Wow. So they don't break and leak or bulge, bust and leak. That's right. So what is a testimony? Earl Pearson, which is Bob Pearson's grandfather, was 67 years old. He had suffered 2 heart attacks, but his medical doctor suggested vitamin E, 1,200 milligrams a day. He lived to be 93 and he never had another heart attack. Wow. Whoa. Because he applied a principle of guarding his heart and his cardiovascular system. More vitamin E studies. Vitamin E is a potent fat-soluble antioxidant. Fats in the body are usually found linked together in your nervous system, your brain, your cardiovascular system. This leads to all kinds of chain reactions. If oxygen attacks one fat, guess what? They all team up together and fight against that oxidative damage. Dr. Lester Packer, how many here remember Dr. Lester Packer? He was the world expert in antioxidants. He was part of the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board at one time. He worked very closely with Dr. Arthur First to actually do that 10-year, 7-year, 17 total year study on the carotenoids. And so Dr. Lester Packer said, listen, the vitamin E, why is it so important? Because it loves fat and so it loves water and it hates water. So if you're phobic of something, you hate it, right? And if you hydrophilic, it means loving. So in other words, on one side of the vitamin E, it loves fats. It loves fats and not water. So it burrows into the cell, and then the other side stays outside because it likes water. So it actually is a transport to guard any oxidative damage going on from the fat, the lipid, and the water. It can anchor itself in the cell membrane. And so it works like a hydraulic for 30, 60, 90 days to neutralize oxidative damage. Neutralize oxidative damage. Free radical damage. A study was conducted in 1970 exposing the cells to lead. And anybody knows that there are no safe exposures to mercury. There are no safe exposures to lead. Even though if you're drinking a protein shake out there, you're getting both. Really? Well, you best be taking your vitamin E. A study conducted in exposure to lead showing the loss of massive scale that led to hardening of the arteries. So in other words, the permeability of the arteries began to stiffen up when you were exposed to lead and to mercury. Oh my goodness. And then blood clots occur because your blood is no longer free flowing. It becomes sludgy. So what is Neolife vitamin E? Neolife vitamin E is cold extracted wheat germ oil that has all 8 families of the vitamin E. It's got the tocopherol and the tocotrienols. It's got the alpha, beta, gamma, delta of all 8. And it's water miscible. Most of you have seen our little demonstration that we've done with our water miscible. It's standardized, meaning it has the therapeutic amount in it that actually makes a difference in your health. And it is not synthetic like 99.9% of all the other vitamin E's out there. Amazing difference. Super C. Now, when you combine E with C, you got a winning combination because vitamin C actually helps strengthen the arterial walls. So what are we doing here? We're doing everything. We're guarding our heart so that we can strengthen our cardio walls. We can strengthen our whole circulatory system. Vitamin C works very closely with vitamin E. In fact, vitamin C, the little part of that vitamin E that stays out there, water-loving part that wants to neutralize the damage. So it's taking the damage out, and a vitamin C will come along because it's a water-soluble nutrient, pick it up and flush it out. Vitamin C, so it actually helps the arterial walls stay permeable. Why? Because it makes collagen. What everybody's talking about is collagen. You have to have a vitamin C to make collagen. Vitamin C is known to protect against fluoride toxicity. So number one, the number one cause of hardening of the arteries is fluoride. Because we've been dumping fluoride in our water systems for many, many years. And if you are taking any kind of medications, it's usually bound with a fluoride compound. So you're getting fluoride, and especially what did they teach you as a kid? Brush your teeth with fluoride. They did these fluoride treatments in the mouth, but it's a neurotoxin. It causes damage to the brain. That's all been documented. And it also hardens the arteries. So vitamin C actually neutralizes the damage of fluoride. So we cannot stop the damage, right? To a certain extent, we can be responsible, but we cannot live in a bubble. So we have to live in this world. So we fortify our bodies with the nutrients that can defend us. Protein, you need protein for a healthy heart. The Neolife protein's got fiber in it, which helps carry out oxidized cholesterol. The 22 amino acids are there to rebuild new capillaries and new arterial walls and structures of those 60,000 miles of blood vessels. It is a multi-blend, so it's got all 22 amino acids. It's got over 2,000 live enzymes in it. It's got 25 essential vitamins and minerals. And I tell people, where can you go today to have a healthy meal that's non-GMO, beyond organic, that's got fully loaded with all this nutrition in it, that you don't have to worry about what it's going to do to your liver or your kidneys or your heart. It's going to give you 100% benefits, and it's under $3 a meal. Wow. Neolife Shake, we talked about that and how it gets one of the highest scores of the PDCAAS score. And that's the score of quality protein, quality amino acids that are free flowing, ready to go about to rebuild a new arterial wall that's been damaged. So the Neolife breakfast solution actually meets the needs. Why? Because it has a salmonol in it. It's got a carotenoid in it. It's got that trenin in it with those grain oils, all for the heart, for the cardio, for the heart. And it has 21 vitamins and minerals. And then you pair it up with the protein shake. And then if you've got other issues, you stack on what? The magnesium, the upbeat, the lipotropic adjunct. If somebody's already got situations going on in their, and they just were, let's say, already have blockages and things like that, they need to take more than one salmonol, more than one carotenoid complex. Why? Because the damage has been advanced and you need to pull it back. So did anybody learn anything tonight? I want to keep it right to about an hour, and I've been talking an hour. So any questions in the house, go right ahead.
Is the one carotenoid in the plant vitality enough to really present that someone with my age against a stroke?
When you say present against a stroke, you mean protect against a stroke? I would, if they're doing one Pro Vitality, I would add a flavonoid to that, because all right, I'm going to do a class on this, and the class is going to be about low. I have to figure out a healthy name for this, but low budget, high yield formulas that Neolife makes. So the carotenoids is 50 something dollars, but the flavonoids is like 20 something. So when you're talking to somebody that, you know, they're going to be shocked at the 50-something one, but they'll say yes to the 20-something one, then present the 20-something one to them because they're going to get amazing benefits out of it. Our flavonoid has been tested clinically, shown to help strengthen the arterial walls, shown to help prevent strokes, shown to help repair damage. It's amazing. Yeah. So great question. Rosemary?
This is about, my daughter. She has high cholesterol,
Mhm.
she doesn't want to take any of the meds. She says, I'm not getting any big pharma. And, you had mentioned what for her to take, but I've talked to Louis before, the things for me, and he always told me like, carotenoid complex, how many a day? Salmon oil, how many? Lipotropic, how many? CoQ10. how many?
Yeah,
he
and
did-
this heart health, I didn't even put CoQ10 in there because I wanted to keep it to an hour.
Yeah, well, I know CoQ10 is. one
Yes,
that is recommended.
yes, yes. All right. Those I would all recommend. So if you want to, how many?
Yeah.
Okay, the studies that were done on the carotenoids were done on 3 a day. So I would take 3 a day. The studies that were done on the salmon oil were done with 3 a day. I would take 3 of those a day. The studies that were done on the Tran was done with 3 a day.
Okay. I don't have to train them, so yes. Lipotropic.
Right. Lipotropic, take 4 of those.
I take 5.
That's great. Sometimes I do too.
Policies 4 and I think 5.
And
Yeah,
CoQ10
very good. Yes.
CoQ10,
2.
1,
Yeah, 2 CoQ10, 4 to 5 lipotropic, and then 3 seminal, 3 carotenoids. Yep. That's great questions. Yes. Anybody else in the house?
Somebody built a Faraday cage around a smart meter.
Mhm.
Would that interfere with the power company reading the meter?
I don't think there's ways to do it without interfering. I had them take the smart meter off of my house and put an analog meter on. So the guy comes to my house every month and he logs, he has to go walk around the back of my house and view my meter and mark it.
We did too, Levon,
Yes,
about 13 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chrissy.
I said we took our meter off too, honey, about 12, 13 years ago. And yes, he does come once a month to read it.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are able to, and I apologize, I don't know how to turn the volume up in this thing. I've tried everything, I've pressed every button and it doesn't work. So I'm like, okay. Afterwards, if I could have somebody help me figure out how to turn the volume up on this thing,
What did she have to say?
Adam. Somebody has it. Go ahead and unmute yourself and share.
Hi, I have been, well, my doctor read me the Riot Act with my cholesterol numbers back in December. I just saw her today. I've been taking 4 lipotropic and several other things that were recommended, like you said, the CoQ10. My cholesterol numbers went from 239 to 188. All my numbers are in the green zone for cholesterol and all that. And I attribute to the lipotropic. She wanted to put me on Lipitor, and I didn't
I
listen to
love
her.
that. Say no to Lipitor, say yes to lipotropic. There you
Yes,
go. Write that one down. That's
Works.
good.
works.
Say no to Lipitor, say yes to lipotropic. Hold on. Well, I am going to actually